Here it is. Hello and good day, geometry. We are continuing kind of actually a review of algebra and parallel and perpendicular lines. And our focus today is going to be writing equations and graphing equations, including parallel and perpendicular lines. So we go all the way back to slope intercept form. Who can remind us all with enthusiasm, with gusto, what is slope intercept form? Ellen. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. In that equation, what is the m and what is the b? Rowan. I'm calling on you. In this equation, what does the m variable represent? The slope. Why do we use m to represent something that's slope, Damien? Why do we use m to represent the slope? Jack?
Because M stands for measure.
M does not, in this case, stand for measure. That's a good one, though. That actually makes some sense. Christopher? Using an S might look too much like a 5. Okay, the real reason, Arlene. Back in the day, slope was called the mlope, right? Which started with an M. And that's where I use it. I got another question. You just saved some. It's also because when you graph an equation, the slope tells you how you move from one point to the next, right? You go up 3 over 2, down 5 over 7, whatever it is. It's how you move. Joey, what does the b variable represent? We use b because back in the day it was called the y-bintercept. Also, when you graph, it's where you begin, right? You plot that point on the y-axis first. You begin there and then use a slope to move to get your second point, okay? So, writing the equation of the line in slope intercept form, last year we covered this in like 3 different objectives. Here you just kind of get thrown at it because hopefully you remember how to do it. All you need is the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept, which is b. You know those two things, you can write the equation in slope intercept form. So looking at this coordinate plane here, what is our value for m? And I think this dot is actually supposed to be on the 1. It's a little bit below it, but I think it's supposed to be on the 1 there. That's where I intended it to be anyway. What's the slope? What's the y-intercept? Joey? Good. Our y-intercept is at positive 1. That's where it crosses the y-axis. And our slope from that point, we go down 1 over 2 to get to the next point, right? And so our slope down 1 over 2, negative 1/2. Our y-intercept, 0, 1. We put those things together in slope intercept form, and we get y equals negative half x plus 1. Okay? Remember this stuff? Yeah? I got the negative because to get from one point to the next, we go down and over. Remember we read a graph from left to right? Okay? So reading a graph from left to right, to get from one point to the next, it's down and over. And the act of going down the y-axis is what makes that slope negative. Okay? The next one, again, what's our slope? What's our y-intercept here? This one, the grid lines are nearly impossible to see, but that's why I got the points on there. Sophie? Sorry? 2/3 is the slope. That looks to be accurate. And how Sophie got that was from our y-intercept point, we're going up 2 over 3 to get to the next point, right? Rise over run, up 2 over 3. And what's our y-intercept? Negative 4. So what's our equation in slope intercept form? Damien?
Y equals 2 over 3x plus or minus 4.
Good. Y equals 2/3 x minus 4. 2/3 x minus 4. That last one, again, grid lines, difficult to see. Try it by yourself. Yeah, well, I answer Jack's question. Go ahead and try the third one on your own. Sir?
Where do you get 4 from?
The minus 4? The minus 4 is the value for B. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. So I looked at the y-axis, and I said, where does this line cross it? That point is at negative 4. Okay? Answer for the next one? Bryn, what'd you get? Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 7. We can see this crosses at 0, 7. The order pair is given to us. It's got that x value of 0 there. And then to get to our second point, we're going down 3 over 4. The act of going down the y-axis means it's going to be a negative slope. And we're going to the right 4. That's our run. Negative 3 over 4, negative 3/4. Lisa. The 7 is the value for B. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So we look at the y-axis and see where's the line across it. What value does it cross the y-axis at? And can you see it crosses at 7? That's where it came from. Okay? Any other questions? Like I said, last year we spent a week on this stuff. Now you're just kind of being thrown. So if you have questions, need to refresh the memory, that's quite all right. Understandable. Sit flat for the rest of the class, please.
Yeah, I'll try.
No, you will. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah.
Why are we learning this again?
Because we're in a unit that involves parallel and perpendicular lines, and where we're headed, we'll be proving whether or not lines are parallel. We know how to do that with angles, corresponding angles, things like that. You can also prove lines are parallel by using slope. Okay, because what do we learn in CO21 about parallel lines and slope?
Parallel lines go like this.
Not always. What do we know about parallel lines and their slopes? The slopes are the same, right? So if we can remember how to calculate slope, we can use slope as a defense that lines are parallel or not parallel or whatever. Okay. Other questions on these three before we go on to the next set? Okay. Geometry.
You got that from Mr. Klinger.
No, he wrote that. That's his writing. That's not my writing.
I knew that.
That's his joke. He just wrote it on my board. Yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to steal it from him. He wrote that up on the board. I didn't.
You didn't give him credit.
He wrote it. I didn't write it. He wrote it himself. I didn't. No, he wrote.
Everyone thinks it's you.
That's not my fault. I didn't write it. No, I don't. I didn't. I can't plagiarize something I didn't write, Jack. I didn't write that.
It looks like you wrote it.
I didn't. Okay.
You write something calling me.
No, I did not write that either. 3, 2, 1. You are quiet before we derail. The next one says a line with a slope of 5 and passing through the point 3, negative 2. Who remembers what I said earlier in the lesson today? What are the two things you need in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form? Kylie. You need the slope and you need the y-intercept. Whatever information about the line you're given, you need to use that to find those two things. Have I given you the slope? Yes. What is it? Have I given you the y-intercept?
No.
How do we solve for it? This was PO24 last year, if some of you have very fond memories of that one. Joey.
I don't know, Brad. You go up 5 on the 3 and then go over 1 on the 2. So,
And you're going to just keep doing that until you get to the y-axis?
yeah.
That's an option. More algebraically, Bryn.
Isn't it like that table thing?
It could be given to you in a table.
Like when you make the arrows and like +1 and then like.
Yep. If I gave you an XY table, that's what you would do to find the slope. Okay? But if you know what the slope is, and I give you an ordered pair that's on the line, Aiden?
You can use the x and y in that.
Yes.
Negative 2 equals 5 times 3.
So think about slope-intercept form, why we wrote it up at the top, y equals mx plus b. This m, of course, we know is the slope. But remember that if you're given an ordered pair on the line, that ordered pair provides you an x value and a y value that you can use to solve for b. Okay, so what we're going to do is if we know that this x and that y is part of the line, we're going to substitute -2 in for y. We have our slope of 5 that you were given. Actually, I'm going to put my prints in. Next one. We have our slope of 5 that you were given. We're going to substitute 3 in for x. And now we can solve for b. Does this ring a bell a little bit now? Again, it was PO24. Okay. Our first step, we're going to simplify 5 times 3. Folks, too much. Today, you are the problem. Yeah. It's 2 to 1. Talking's not as bad as jabbing, but yeah, you got 2. Today, when you had no idea what I was talking about when I asked you the question.
No, I didn't remember what Amy's was.
Okay. Okay. So what I did was I multiplied my slope and x value together, 5 times 3, get 15, right? That gives me a one-step equation to solve for b. Subtract 15 from both sides, and -2 minus 15 gives me -17. So Vince, what is our final answer here?
Y equals 5x.
Good. Y equals 5x minus 17. Jack. Okay? Questions on that process? Because everything else kind of goes back to this work here. I was actually teaching this very same thing or something similar to it with my algebra class, your compadres, and they started complaining as to how much work this was. And I said, you just wait for ox and oi. You just wait for the quadratic formula. You just wait. You just wait factoring. You just wait. So sorry. So yeah, they thought this was a lot of work, but proofs, yeah, they don't know what's coming their way here. Shh. Okay, 3, 2, 1. You are quiet. The next one here. I said a line passing through the ordered pairs 7, 15, and 21, 23. Do I give you the slope? No. Do I give you the y-intercept? No. Let's go to work. Christopher, tell us how we can solve for the slope. When you are given 2 ordered pairs and asked to find the slope, you're going to our slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? The difference of the y's and the difference of the x's. Damien, what's your question? Yep. This is last year PO22, right? y2 minus y1, 23 minus 15. 21 minus 7. Who said 23 minus 15?
Me.
Oh, do you see where I got that from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that gives me 8 over 14, which reduces to be 4/7. Okay. Now, fractions can be a little bit scary, but when we set this second part up, you're going to see how it actually ends up being okay. Ellen?
So when you find B, don't you take either one of the ordered pairs and plug it in?
Yes. Here's the beauty of this is that you really can't go wrong for which ordered pair you pick. It's going to work out exactly the same either way. So, Anthony, would you like this ordered pair or that ordered?
The first one.
I said this or that, Anthony.
I said
This one. Anthony wants to use this ordered pair. And so just like before, we're going to go to slope-intercept form. We're plugging in that 15 for y. We solve for the slope. Our m is 4/7. Our x value is 7. And we're solving for b. Why should we not be afraid of 4/7 times 7, Christopher? The 7's cancel out. If you think about this as 4/7 of 7, right? You can kind of break it down to 1/7. 1/7 of 7 is 1, and we want 4 of them. That's going to give us 4. Or the old-fashioned way, multiply them 4/7 times 7 over 1. As Christopher said, these 7's cancel out, and you're left with just 4 over 1. Folks, okay? Subtract 4 from both sides. We get 11 as our value for b. And our final answer is y equals 4/7 x plus 11. Okay? Another common objective from last year was PO34. Anyone remember that one? PO29. Does that ring a bell? It's writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. Yeah? That's what this one comes from here. I want you to write the equation of a line that passes through 2, 3 and is parallel to a line with the equation y equals negative 2x plus 2. Joey, Rowan, warnings for each of you. Quiet. Damien, sit flat, please. Yeah. It would not be y equals negative 2x plus 2 because our line has to pass through the point 2, 3. Okay, 2, 3 is not a solution to this line here. 2, 3 is not on that line. I want you to write the equation of a line that 2, 3 is on and is parallel to y equals negative 2x plus 2. So here's where you have to go back and think about, what do I think about parallel lines? I feel like we've talked about this. Liesel, give me what we know about parallel lines first. That's helpful information. Same slope. So if our line is parallel to this one, meaning they have the same slope, what will the slope of our line be? Negative 2. Right? It's your understanding of what does the word parallel mean. It means that it's the same slope. Now that we've got that, how do we find b? Lisa. Exactly. Yep, we use the ordered pair that we're given in the slope-intercept form, just like we did in the other two, right? Where we plug in 3 for y, excuse me, 3 for y, 2 for x, use our slope and then solve. Add 4 to both sides, we get a b value of 7. Our final answer, our final equation, y equals negative 2x plus 7. The last one, write the equation of a line passing through 10, negative 3 that is perpendicular to a line with the equation y equals 5/3 x plus 4. Catherine, what does the word perpendicular mean in regards to slope? So if the given line has a slope of 5/3, what will the slope of our line be? She says with gusto, negative 3/5. How do we find b? Aiden, plug in the x and y from the given ordered pair, just like we did before, right? That ordered pair that's a part of our line, that's a value for x and a value for y. So in slope, Damien, stand for the rest of the class, please. So in slope-intercept form, negative 3 goes in for y. Our slope is negative 3/5. Our x value is 10. And we're solving for b. Same process, right? A little bit different for all of them here, but generally the same same idea. Negative 3/5 of 10 is negative 6. Add 6 to both sides. We get a b value of 3. And so our equation, y equals negative 3/5 x plus 3. Questions on any of this? Our trip down memory lane, in a sense, today. Your homework, then. What's that? Oh, the word? No, the word kind of ended with Boyle leaving us for a little while. Go ahead. Please do. It was a lot of fun. I had great joys. On page 184.
That's it, right? You got to that page.
4 through 12 even.
Even.
Why not odd?
18, 20,
Odd, right?
Odd.
Odd, right? And 21? Yeah, odd.
29, work must be shown. That is correct. And
And that's it.
That's it, man.
that could be all. That's it. Show all your work. That's how you math. Thank you, Aiden.